Mashpee and Hyannis, you'll find the latest in men's and women's clothing, as well as ski and tennis equipment, and much more. Puritan Cape Cod, 548-0116, or PuritanCapeCod.com.
Welcome to Falmouth. If you're a visitor, this is where surf and sun meet for fun. If you're a resident, this is where you'll find the businesses and the resources.
Hi, I'm Pat Thatcher.
And I'm Margaret Gifford. We're from Sotheby's International Realty.
You know, spring is a beautiful time in Falmouth, but one thing I've noticed is in scant supply.
Sure is bikinis on the beach.
Oh, Margaret, I'm not talking about bikinis. I'm talking about the housing inventory.
It's the lowest it's ever been.
It's very low, but it's a good time for sellers.
And a great time for buyers because the interest rates are so favorable.
All in all, it's a great time for real estate in Falmouth.
Nestled in a classic New England setting amid 200-year-old elm trees and charming colonial homes, stately sea captains' homes, and charming Cape Cod salt boxes, Shoreway Acres is a graceful blend of Cape Cod's past and present. Shoreway Acres, proud sponsor of Falmouth Community Television.
Founder Abraham Penn taught a valuable lesson that has been part of a tradition since 1919 when he said, "I'd rather make a friend than make a sale." For more than 90 years, Puritan has been making friends as a unique family-owned company right here in Cape Cod. At Puritan Cape Cod on 199 Main Street, as well as Chatham, Mashpee, and Hyannis, you'll find the latest in men's and women's clothing, as well as ski and tennis equipment, and much more. Puritan Cape Cod, 548-0116, or PuritanCapeCod.com.
Welcome to Falmouth. If you're a visitor, this is where surf and sun meet for fun. If you're a resident, this is where you'll find the businesses and the resources necessary to fill all of your needs. If you're a business person, this can be your home. Join with other men and women who work together to make this a sustainable economy year-round. Welcome to Falmouth, Cape Cod.
Green Harbor Waterfront Lodging is nestled in a woodland setting on a picturesque ocean inlet. Green Harbor offers so much for a fun-filled yet affordable family waterfront vacation. Enjoy our private boating beach with ramp and dock, free rowboats and paddle boats, oversized heated outdoor pool and kiddie pool. You'll enjoy our attractive waterfront and beachside accommodations. So visit us online at gogreenharbor.com.
Remember, WC Communications is your printing team. We are calm and cool under pressure. You can call us at 508-563-7366 or toll free at 1-800-696-7303.
Internet services provided by Cape.com Incorporated. Established in 1994, Cape.com is the only locally owned and operated internet service provider on Cape Cod. Our specialties include e-commerce applications and design, wide area networking services, and high-speed DSL internet access throughout eastern Massachusetts. Cape.com continues to lead the way with cutting-edge applications, superior networking services, and quality customer support. For more information, visit us at www.cape.com or call us at 539-9500.
Cavosa Excavating is a family-owned and operated company specializing in the installation of Title V septic systems. Cavosa Excavating is one of the largest septic system installers on Cape Cod. Whether it's upgrading your current system or installing a whole new system, Cavosa Excavating can do the job. Cavosa Excavating, 508-563-5530.
Cavosa Disposal is proud to provide trash removal services to local businesses in Falmouth. Cavosa Disposal would like to thank its customers in Falmouth. Cavosa Disposal, 563-5070.
We've earned people's trust for over 180 years. We're proud of our heritage and the enduring relationships we've built with our clients. For us, trust is more than a word. It's the only way we do business, and it's why people choose Janney.
Leah McGuire's Irish Pub, Main Street, downtown Falmouth. What an Irish pub should be. Sláinte.
Bayside Kitchen and Bath on Main Street in Falmouth, where design and installation professionals work closely with homeowners, architects, and builders. Offering a full range of cabinetry, flooring, faucets, and green alternatives, Bayside Kitchen and Bath, returning you to beautiful spaces.
Eastman's has been Falmouth's hardware store since 1913. Today, we offer a paint department, over 30,000 fasteners in stock, and a friendly staff to assist with all your hardware needs. 508-548-0407.
Wild Harbor General Store, located in historic North Falmouth Village, providing quality goods and services for 170 years. Continuing to make history with our support of FCTV's coverage of Falmouth Town Meeting.
Carpet Barn, Carpet One Home Showcase, a local family-owned business offering all your premier carpet and flooring needs. They also feature tile and vinyl floors, area rugs, window treatments, and kitchen and bathroom cabinetry, serving you at 4 convenient locations.
Bringing you the news through the years, The Enterprise. Their subscription information line is 508-299-8379, and you can visit them on the web at www.capenews.net.
Michael A. Duffany Builders, Incorporated, 508-540-3625. Falmouth Volunteers in Public Schools, 508-548-1621. The Bank of Cape Cod, at 445 Main Street in Falmouth, bankofcapecod.com. Wood Lumber Company, at 81 Locust Street, 508-548-3154. Neighborhood Falmouth, meeting seniors' needs, 564-7543, neighborhoodfalmouth.org. Green Shuttle of Cape Cod, 866-934-6476, or gogreenshuttle.com. Foley Real Estate, at 703 Main Street. The number is 548-3415. M.R. Sars & Company, Flower Garden Nursery, at Sandwich Road in Hatchville, 548-5288. Danny's Barbershop, 508-548-6013. Eight Cousins Bookstore, at 189 Main Street in Falmouth, 548-5548. Paul's Precision Automotive Repair, at 464 Main Street, 508-548-3164. David Rogers, Electrician, Residential, Commercial, Industrial, 564-7507. Murray McDonald Insurance Services, Incorporated, at 406 Jones Road in Falmouth and 550 MacArthur Boulevard in Bourne. Falmouth Fish Market, at 157 T-Ticket Highway in Falmouth.
Hamilton Tree Incorporated, 508-563-7633 or www.hamtreeandland.com. Oppenheim and Nickerson LLP. Their law office is at 156 Locust Street, 508-548-8255. Davy Tree and Lawn at 996 East Falmouth Highway, 548-2662. Andy's Barbershop in the Falmouth Plaza. Arthur D. Calfee Insurance with 2 locations at 121 Conwy Road in North Falmouth and 336 Gifford Street in Falmouth. Chapman Cole & Gleason, 508-540-4172. Hanush Jewelers, now at 352 Main Street in downtown Falmouth. The number is 548-9107. Mahoney's Garden Center at Route 28 in East Falmouth. The number is 508-548-4842. Vincent Associates Real Estate at 159 Main Street in Town Hall Square. The number is 548-6500. The Cape Cod 5 at 763 Main Street. The number is 457-5252. Cape Cod Cleaning, 508-563-7622. Steve's Pizzeria and More at 374 Main Street in the center of town. 457-9454 or 457-9636.
Come forward, take your seats. Don't forget to sign in. Oh yeah. I got a pile of legal opinions here. Because they're going to try to get rid of me from the chair.
How does that happen? You mean for the sewer article?
Turbines.
How does that happen? Does somebody make a motion and then tell me to vote?
I don't know. We're going to see what happens. I'm not letting you vote on it. Not unless we get in a pissing contest. Okay, all town meeting members present, please come forward. Don't forget to sign in. Attendance will be published in the Falmouth Enterprise. Okay, all town meeting members present, please come forward. Okay, tonight we're going to commence with the special town meeting warrant. have a few announcements to make this evening before we start. If we are back here tomorrow night, the Falmouth Service Center is asking for folks if you could bring some canned fruit and healthy children's snacks for school vacation. If we don't come back tomorrow night, we ask that you drop those off at the Service Center. The Charter Review Committee wants to remind town meeting members and those at home that on Thursday, April 18th at 7 o'clock, Kevin Callahan's show entitled Falmouth First on FCTV Channel 13 will deal with the 15 charter questions that will be on the May ballot. Also this Thursday, the new community-wide meal get-together program called Falmouth Eats will be meeting from 4 to 6 o'clock at the John Wesley United Methodist Church on Gifford Street. Also, we want to put out a reminder of the Falmouth cleanup weekend, or cleanup day. Leslie Lichtenstein, could you give us the details of the Falmouth cleanup? Oh, in the mic.
Snow is gone, and now we can see all the trash that got left all along. Our annual cleanup is again going to be April 20th through 27th. If you can't do it that week, you can do it anytime you want. But the selectmen have kindly waived the $2.50 bag fee if you get a pass from your area coordinator. There is a poster out there. Hopefully, as you came through the door, we foisted a flyer upon you. And I would love it if you take that flyer home and put it up in your post office or the grocery store or anywhere where other people can see it. And let's clean up the town. Thanks, guys.
Okay, our tellers this evening in the first division will be Mr. Sellers. In the second division will be Mr. Dufresne. In the third division will be Mr. Hampson. All town meeting members present, please rise for the establishment of a quorum. Mr. Sellers, you're getting the stage as well? So we've got two up here. 50 in the first division. In the third division, Mr. Hampson. 69. In the second division, Mr. Dufresne. 91. By a counted vote of 210, we have a quorum, and I call the special town meeting into session. All present, please rise for the presentation of the colors by Sea Scout Ship 40. Please follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This time I'll recognize the mate from Sea Scout Ship 40 for our invocation.
Scouts uncap. Lord, when it comes to meeting and communicating with each other, help us to be good listeners. Help us to be open-minded, putting aside our own agendas. Help us to be honest without being insensitive. Help us to be respectful without being too formal or artificial. Help us to question and to challenge without being harsh. Help us to be aware that this is just one moment, just one meeting. And lastly, help us to remember that you too are always meeting and communicating with us. Amen.
Colors post. Falmouth Sea Scout Ship 40. A special announcement that I'd like to make tonight. We have, as you know, a special election coming up on April 30th, the primary election for the United States Senate seat. And an individual who unfortunately is not with us tonight, but I know she's watching at home, has served this town for the last 49 years as an election warden and has completed her term of service. And for that, Representative Madden and myself would like to make a special presentation which we will deliver to Doris S. Bousquet in recognition of 49 years as an election warden for the town of Falmouth. Doris, thank you for your service. Doris, if they didn't pan the camera around, you just got a standing ovation. Okay, let's start with the dispensing of the reading of the warrant. Mr. Chairman, for the main motion.
Yes, Mr. Moderator. I move to dispense with the reading of the warrant except for the officers' returns.
Okay, you've all heard the main motion, dispense with the reading of the warrant. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. At this time, I'll read the officers' return of the warrant. By virtue of this warrant, I have this day notified and summoned the inhabitants of the town of Falmouth, qualified to vote on town affairs as said warrant directs, by posting an attested copy thereof in Town Hall in every precinct in the town, signed by Constable James Pond. Mr. Clerk, I ask that the warrant become an official part of the record for this meeting. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion for non-town meeting members and department heads to sit up front with their respective boards and committees. So moved. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion for all town employees who are not residents of Falmouth to speak on any article before the special town meeting. So moved. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. At this time, I'll recognize the planning board for a notification of public hearing.
Good evening. I'm Jim Fox, Clerk Secretary of the Planning Board. In accordance with Chapter 40A, Section 5 of the Massachusetts General Law, the Falmouth zoning bylaw, a public hearing was held on February 19th on Articles 1, 2, and 3 for the April 9th, 2013 special town meeting. And all those who wished to speak were heard. Thank you very much.
Okay, tonight we're going to do the special, and when we complete that, we'll reconvene the annual. I'm going to jump right in on Article 1 rather than do a blanket tonight. So Article 1, to amend the zoning bylaw by amending Article 2, building permit moratorium. Mr. Chairman of the Planning Board for the main motion.
Mr. Moderator, Planning Board recommends Article 1 as printed.
Okay, Article 1 as printed. This is the Medical Marijuana Treatment Center moratorium. Any discussion on Article 1? Hearing none, then the question will come on the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it by a 2/3 vote, and I so declare. Article 2. Article 2 is Chapter 240 of the Zoning Code of Falmouth. Mr. Chairman, for the main motion.
Mr. Moderator, the Planning Board recommends Article 2, indefinite postponement.
Okay, Article 2, indefinite postponement. Is there anyone that would like to make a positive motion on Article 2? Seeing none, then the question will come on the main motion as indefinite postponement. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 3, to amend the official zoning map of the town of Falmouth, Marine District to Business Redevelopment District. Mr. Chairman, for the main motion.
Mr. Moderator, the Planning Board recommends Article 3 as printed.
Okay, as printed is the main motion. Discussion. Mr. Dufresne, and then Mr. Netto.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Moderator, I'd like to yield to Mr. Nero, and I would speak after him.
Okay, Mr.
As
Netto.
a representative of Precinct 2.
Joe Netto, Precinct 9. I held this article because it's similar to an article that we received about 5 or 6 years ago when a petitioner came in front of us to rezone another parcel of property around Falmouth Harbor under the Marine District. I'd like to point out to you that the article that you have before you is to rezone the property that many of us who grew up in Falmouth know as the gun and tackle parcel. In looking up the history of Falmouth creating a marine zone and why we did it, I came up with the following. And the Marine District zoning came in Falmouth's history into its nomenclature in 1958. The properties that were included in marine zoning were business and light industrial. So in 1958, the town of Falmouth adopted marine zoning. In 1966, we had another article, town meeting strengthening marine zoning. And then in 1987, and many of us were here tonight, voted on this article. Article 61, Annual Town Meeting 1987, rezoned the property that you have in front of you tonight to be rezoned again. I would hope that you would turn that down. Why did we rezone the property? And this one I can speak as factual knowledge as someone who was here. At that time, the harbor had a growth of condominium growth. And every time we came down to the harbor, there was a new set of condominiums being built. So in the wisdom of the planning board, they put forth this article in 1987, which rezoned all that property on the east-west side of Falmouth Harbor, the old gun and tackle property. And folks, in doing my research on these articles, every article that the planning board put in front of us in dealing with a marine district passed this body unanimously, 100%. The rezoning is not coming from the planning board, but from a petitioner. There's been talk that the planning board might be looking at some of this area. But it's not the planning board that is giving us this article. In discussions with Mr. Arment, who has contacted me when he heard I was going to hold the article, gave me a case, obviously, for his client. But there's one sentence that I have to take exception to, and I just look at some historical background. And the basis of the article for the rezoning, and if you look in the back of your book, it doesn't have a page number for Article 3 under the special, you will see that that property does not touch the water. There's a town road between the end of the property and the harbor. If you look at the map, you'll see that there's another parcel that falls into the same category, and that parcel came to be rezoned, I think, 5 or 6 years ago, and we turned it down. But it was stated, and I'll quote, that no truly water-dependent tenant can be in a property that is not on the water. Well, historically, that's not correct. Gun and Tackle was a building that Marine District use property that many of us bought boats and motors from. And on that last statement, I'd just like to have you look across the harbor at West Marine that isn't on the water, and is a thriving marine use business. And just drive down Route 28, and you see a very large boatyard called Bosun's Marine. Now, it is not our responsibility as town meeting members to ensure the vitality of a business or to make sure it's run properly. But this property has served the town of Falmouth as a marine district use for years. The ownership has changed, the businesses have changed, but to say that it cannot be successful in a marine district is a misstatement. I would hope you would turn this, and by the way, if you look at if you have your warrant booklets out, the zoning that the petitioner is looking for, business redevelopment, is the same zoning that's on Main Street, that slashed red line. So do you want the harbor to look like that part of Main Street, or do you want to protect what we have for the marine industry and the appearance to stand out? Thank you very much for your consideration.
Mr. Herbst? Mr. Herbst? And then I'll come back to Andy, okay?
The applicant has the Attorney Ahmet to represent them, and he may wish to speak to this article. So I would ask the town meeting to allow him to do so.
Mr. Ahmed, you'd like to present on behalf of the client?
Thank you again, Mr. Moderator. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I represent the applicant, the owner of the property, which is Falmouth Heights Marina, Inc. It's a Massachusetts corporation. The general manager of the corporation is Mark Jones, and he's here in the back of the room, but he asked me to speak for him because he didn't feel comfortable doing so himself. The rezoning of this property did come before town meeting in November of 2008. This was one of 3 properties, the other ones being Park Cleaners, and the third being an office building next to McDougal's. Those are the only 3 properties around the Inner Harbor, and I think the only 3 properties in Falmouth that are in the marine zone that are not on the water. Both of the other properties are grandfathered from the effect of the marine zoning that was put in place in 1987. Park Cleaners was entirely a cleaners at the time, and the office building already existed and was an office building. But as you know, the property in question was Gun and Tackle, a retail operation that had significant relation to the nearby water. It's somewhat ironic that when Gun and Tackle left, West Marine was looking for a place to be and found the property to be too small. And so they relocated in property owned by the same individual right across Scranton Avenue so they can have the bigger store for the marine-related use across the street. We came to you in 2008 because of the difficulty in complying with the marine zoning bylaw. The zoning bylaw specifically provides that the purpose of the Marine District is to preserve uses dependent on access to the water. And other uses not directly dependent on the water access are only allowed by special permit and to support the principal use. Now, that's what the zoning bylaw says. The only permitted business uses are marinas, boatyards, and marine-related research. Now, under those categories, you could have retail sales within a marina, but you have to have a marina or oceanographic or marine-related research. For a while, the owner of the property was able to keep it fully rented because there was a boat brokerage who had been there previously. Today, there's a small restaurant, a raw bar, and there's a real estate office, and they can occupy by special permit, which has been issued by the Board of Appeals, 50% of the floor area of the building. The rest of the property cannot be occupied except for a qualifying water-dependent use. And yes, I'm sure there is out there somewhere a tenant for this space. And if anybody's listening who might qualify, who wants such space, I wish they would contact me or my client. But the restrictions of the marine zone are overly restrictive for property in this situation. Now, I appreciate the purposes of the marine zoning to avoid condominium development around the harbor, which was going on the other side of the harbor back when this was passed, 1987. We're talking about a parcel of less than half an acre that's abutted on one side, not by business district, or sorry, not by marine district, but by the public use district. So it is at the end of the marine district. And if we could, I'd like the slide shown that just shows the layout of the property. You'll see that the property is fully developed. We could have that. I know it's in there. You don't have that? Okay, well, it went to the planning board. But in the marine district, you can have 40% lot coverage. In the business redevelopment district, you can only have 20% lot coverage. The present building occupies 39% of the property. So the rezoning will make it non-conforming. The property is subject to a special permit. The property is non-conforming with regard to setbacks. Nothing can happen with that property without a special permit from the town. This is not a situation, it's not a large piece of property where we should fear the conversion to condominiums. The density allowed for residential use is, by right, is 6 units per acre. You can get a special permit to make it 8 units per acre. We have less than half an acre. So we can have 2 units, possibly with a special permit. You could have 3 units, and that's simply not what we're trying to do. We are trying to be able to rent the property. And while it's been suggested that it is not the job of town meeting to help business, I think you have to look at each case, and there are times when you should be helping business in Falmouth, because maybe some more people will be employed if we can occupy the space. So this came before you 4.5 years ago. And as the minutes of the meeting reflect, and I thought this was great, I went to Town Hall to get the minutes of the 2008 meeting thinking that's where I had to get the minutes. I talked to Mr. Palmer, who's in charge of these things, and he said, no, you don't have to do that anymore. You can look at the minutes of town meeting going back years and years now online from your computer. That's great. And I did look at them. And at the time, the planning board asked town meeting to postpone action, to indefinitely postpone this article. And the planning board said they wanted to look at the entire harbor area and put into effect some zoning which would encourage more uses, something like business redevelopment. And for that reason, the article failed. There were other reasons too. There were people who spoke in support and people who spoke, like Mr. Netto did then, against the article. In the year that followed, I worked with the planning board, talked to the town planner in an effort to move something along. 4.5 years have passed. The planning board has not recommended rezoning all around the harbor to address this problem. We went back to the planning board this year and said, we still have a problem. This property doesn't work in the marine zone. And we have tenants who are there, and the property has been significantly improved, but now we have half of the property vacant. And the planning board agreed with us. They agreed with us. And they unanimously voted to recommend to you that this article be passed. And it was the planning board that recommended that we request business redevelopment zoning. And I hope that you'll support this article and that you'll approve it so that we can simply rent subject to a special permit. We'll have to go to the Board of Appeals for occupancy of the space because it's a non-conforming building and subject to special permits as is. Give us the opportunity to do that, to rent this property. Thank you very much.
Mr. Dufresne.
Representative Precinct 2. Mr. Netto did an excellent job of explaining the consequences of a rezoning at this particular time of this particular corner. The Robbins Road corner and Scranton Avenue, believe it, is a very busy corner. When we voted the marine zoning back in 1987, there was a purpose for marine zoning. We had created Falmouth Harbor, was doing well. Right now, I do not believe that this is the proper avenue for us to rezone this particular corner. The planning board, as I read, was supposed to do an overall study of the entire marine zoning. They have not done this. That is not our fault. That is not this town meeting's fault. Until they do that and give us an overview of the consequences of, they talk about how small the parcel is. Well, in my lifetime, I've seen small parcels that become a pain in the neck for the rest of the town. So I would ask that you vote this down until such a time as the planning board does the job that they said that they were going to do, and let the tenants that are in the corner right now, hopefully we can work with them a little later on and help them out. But this is not the time to do it. I do not believe that they have enough information of what they want to do on that corner. It's a very, very busy corner. I've watched the development of Scranton Avenue and Falmouth Heights Road, and I'm very concerned about what's going to happen in the future in Precinct 2.
Mrs. Bossman.
Thank you.
Mr. Moderator, Elizabeth Bothner, Precinct 2. I'd like to follow up on the comments of the previous speakers with some points that have not yet been made, just to be sure that town meeting is fully informed about the implications of this. The request is for rezoning to business redevelopment. It's important to understand that under that zoning, there are incentives to achieve maximum density. The tendency on a small lot is to move up rather than out. And with a special permit, it's possible to have 4 stories. That's pretty troubling in that area. To me, this smacks of spot zoning at this point, with the marine district zoning, business 2, and general residence all in that area. And I would like to further reinforce that I consider, as do many, the harbor to be one of Falmouth Village's crown jewels, along with the library and the Village Green. And so I'm asking for everyone to support the idea that we would be preserving the character of the town by voting against this rezoning at this time. Thank you.
Further discussion? Mr. Swain.
Charlie Swain, Precinct 1. When we zoned this marine back in 1987, Ken Buckland and I were on the planning board. Ken was the planner. And we wanted the harbor area to be held and reserved for marine use. Those lots on the water, of course, were water dependent, but you don't have to be on the water itself in order to preserve the use on the harbor. So as Mr. Netto said, you can have research there, you can have boating, whatever. But I would suggest, I like Mr. Arment, however, I'm against this article, and I think the town meeting members should also be against it. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, then the question, Mr. Hibbs?
I'd like to remind the town meeting members that we don't just idly make these decisions. We hold hearings where the public is invited to attend and express their opinions. We debate them ourselves. We listen to testimony, and then we make a decision as to whether or not we're going to go ahead with a zoning bylaw change. And this is the way we operate. We don't idly make decisions and not take into consideration the history and the future of these properties. I think it would be a mistake if everybody agreed that the town is an obstructionist when it comes to business, because you hear frequently, oh, this committee or that board or so forth is always standing in the way of something. Here was an opportunity for the planning board to present to the town meeting a change in zoning that we feel is appropriate for this area. It is the least, it is the most restrictive business use, and it requires, as Mr. Ahmed said, special permits to go forward. So it's not a slam dunk by any means. So I would encourage you to support the planning board on this article.
Okay, Mr. Donahue and then Mr. Ahmed.
Mr. Moderator, town meeting members, the planning board said to us that they were going to do a study on the marine area. How many years ago? 4? Now they come to us and say, oh, this is a great thing. I think we need a study. You said you would do it. And this is where I think we get into all kinds of trouble all the time. The boards and committees say they're going to do something, but they don't follow through. Please go back. I'm voting against this. Go back, do an overview of the whole area. There's a lot of questions in that whole area, and come back and give us a report. And then we could vote on this one way or the other, more intelligently. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Ahmed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to prolong your discussion on this, but I don't think it's right for me to to let a misstatement go by. And I just want to correct the statement that Mrs. Bothner said. And I'm familiar with zoning bylaw with respect to the marine zone, and I have it in front of me, and I've studied it in preparation for this meeting. And the maximum building height is not 4 stories, it's 35 feet. There's no reference to stories, and that's the same height that's allowed in the, that's business redevelopment, I mean, is that. And that's the same height that's allowed in the Marine District. I appreciate that there are concerns about what can happen if the property were rezoned, if it were a bigger property. The concerns you have and the reasons that you might like the planning board to study the whole area don't affect the fact that nothing can be done on this lot that would really be an adverse use. The property is fully built up, and the idea that somebody would go up even 3 stories in order to have 2 residences is it's just not going to happen. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Herbst?
I'd like to correct something here that's, that I think is being ignored, and that is the fact that the planning board did study this area after we turned down the previous attempt for rezoning. And you can ask any planning board member if they walked the area, which we did. We walked the entire area with our staff. And we decided basically that we weren't going to recommend any changes to the zoning at that time. Subsequent to that, this particular property came before us at the request of the owner, and we considered making this change in this particular property. So it's not true that the planning board didn't do a study in this area. We did.
Mr. Latimer?
Richard Latimer, Precinct 2, also a planning board member. Now actually the senior planning board member with the recent resignation of Charles Swain. I take a different view of this from Charlie, however. First of all, you know, we are a citizen volunteer unpaid board. We meet every week. We do a lot of work. We have things coming before us that take more precedence than making recommendations on something that we have already determined we don't want to change. You might appreciate the fact that the past 2 years we've been working on a very major issue, which is how to site wind turbines in this town, and now we're going to be saddled with how to site marijuana clinics. I mean, that just doesn't end. And like Charlie said, we decided we weren't going to do anything, and somehow this particular piece of property just got lost in the shuffle. That's nobody's fault. Now, however, when we have a meeting, we give a notice of it, and anybody is welcome to come and comment at our hearings. We didn't hear anything from Mr. Netto, didn't hear anything from Mr. Dufresne. Nothing. All we heard about on this project was from the applicant. Nobody spoke against it. What the applicant persuaded us was that there is nothing in this rezoning. Well, first of all, there's nothing in this particular parcel that has any particular use to being in the marine zone. There's nothing about this parcel that conforms to what the reasons for the marine zone are. It also persuaded us that there's nothing about taking this out of the marine zone that would in any way defeat the purposes of the marine zone. Nothing. And we've heard nothing on those 2 points from either Mr. Dufresne or Mr. Netto, although had they bothered to come to the meeting and speak about it, we would have listened to them, and maybe we would have gotten some better information, some more better developed information, and hopefully it would have been better than what we got here tonight. So I'm not going to take the rap on this. If town meeting wants to vote this down, that's town meeting's will, but I don't think that we should be on the planning board be castigated for this. Thank you.
Ms. Bothner? And then I think we're ready to vote.
Mr. Moderator, Elizabeth Bothner, Precinct 2. I do want to respond to Mr. Ament. I believe he did not understand what I said. I said that under business redevelopment, there are incentives, as well as under a special permit, it is possible to be granted a 4-story structure. And I, for one, will say that there have been times when a special permit has not proved to be in the best interests of Falmouth. And I would say that the same thing is true by rezoning this to business redevelopment. I think it is a mistake. The importance is to have a long-range plan, not spot zoning, and to, in the interim, preserve as much as possible the character of Falmouth's town marina. Thank you.
Mr. Curry, could you just weigh in? Is it, because I'm hearing two different stories, and I don't like when I have conflicting facts, because there's only one set of facts. So could the town planner tell us, can you have 4-story buildings under a special permit if we make this change?
Mr. Moderator, I'm not aware of any such provision.
Ms. Bothner, can you document where you find that provision? You cannot. Okay.
Is it possible through you, Mr. Moderator, for anyone to then verify, I thought it was applicable, the 4-story building that we have on East Main Street opposite the shoe repair and the tailoring shop?
Okay, go ahead. I wanted to see if I was getting something from down here. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Alan Fleer, Precinct 6. I believe that was a friendly 40B, which throws all the zoning, setbacks, heights, everything out the window.
Okay. Ms. Abbott? He's correct, I'm told, from the zoning board, because it's a 40B project, that's why they were allowed to do that. Ms. Abbott?
Jane Abbott, Precinct 7. Why not just plain B3? Why does it have to be this new zone?
I'm sorry, Ms. Abbott, I couldn't hear you.
I wondered why it wasn't just B.
Can you speak in a little closer to the mic?
Wondered why it wasn't just B3, like the other adjoining area, and rather than the redevelopment.
Question about B3?
Who is the question directed to?
Ms. Abbott, were you directing a question through me to someone? Because I'm not an expert in the zoning bylaw. To Mr.
Why not just B3?
Why not just B3 was the question.
You'd have to ask the applicant.
The applicant. Mr. Ament, I guess, can answer that. Why not B3?
Mr. Moderator, the request 4.5 years ago was for B3, and when we went to the planning board, talked to them, we suggested B3 again. The planning board asked us to do business redevelopment in our request, as it is somewhat more restrictive in most respects than the B3 would be, and I think the town planner can confirm that. Thank you.
Okay.
That is correct. We recommended that the applicant apply for a rezoning on the most restrictive business zoning, and that is business redevelopment.
Okay, so the question will come on the main motion. This requires a 2/3 vote. The main motion as printed. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. No. It's been in the chairs that the noes have it, and there's not a 2/3 majority. Mr. Chairman.
For just a moment. Tonight is my last night as chairman of the planning board. to come before town meetings. Done it for 2 years. It's time to pass the baton. People ask me, how do you put up with people asking you all of these questions and putting you on the spot? And I tell them, well, you have to have a thick skin. And my wife says that I have a thick head. So putting those two together makes a pretty good candidate for the chairman of the planning board. So I'd like to say my goodbyes in a musical form. Goes something like this. Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. My tenure as the planning chief is a bit too long. If you can't say anything real nice, please don't talk at all. That's my advice. So you go your way, I'll go mine. Best that we do. But here's my vote. I hope it brings lots of luck to you. Makes no difference how I carry on. Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Really mean it. Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, Mr. Herbst.
Please don't talk about me when I'm gone.
Unfortunately, Mr. Herbst, I think we're going to be talking about that for many years to come. Article 4, Madam Chairman of the Finance Committee, for the main motion on Article 4.
Mr. Chairman, I move Article 4 as recommended.
As recommended, this is to transfer $21,000 within the fiscal 2013 budget, $21,000 transferring from fire department salaries to fire department contractual services. Any discussion on Article 4? Hearing none, then the question will come in the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 5, Madam Chairman, for the main motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move Article 5 as recommended.
Okay, Article 5 as recommended. This is transferring the sum of $840,000 from certified free cash for the purpose of funding. And then there's the laundry list there in the recommendation. Any discussion on Article 5? Hearing none, then the question will come on the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 6, the recommendation is indefinite postponement. Is there any positive motion? Hearing none, I'll take the main motion from the Finance Committee as indefinite postponement. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 7, Madam Chairman.
I move Article 7 as recommended.
As recommended, this is to transfer the sum of $475,000 from health insurance account to a health insurance mitigation account to be expended under the jurisdiction of the Personnel Department. Any discussion on Article 7? Yep. Mr. Holcomb.
Um, I have a basic question on this. There was a $1.9 million savings in this mitigation fund, which I completely know as president of the teachers union, which was created by the legislation and the town. Is anything being done to control the cost, or is that $1.3 million just going to be eaten up as the rates go up? I read the budget book, and it said that you put a 9% increase in the health insurance budget, but I don't see that in the budget. I see the exact same amount as last year. And I know that there's actually a 6% increase, but that's artificially funded by the Cape Municipal Group. I wish that Mrs. Harper or someone could explain what this is really about and what the town is doing to look at a way to save the town and the employees money. Because it says in here that the high users will be benefiting from this, and that's where the savings is coming from. But every single employee has either a $2,000 or a $4,000 deductible that they never had before. And I understand that in this time and this age, but I want to know, is a town looking at some way to address this issue? Because if the rates are going to continue going up, this savings wasn't real. And if there's no plan, this 9% could be 24% next year. Because I know the municipal group adjusted their, I don't know what they call the account, but it's usually 17 million extra they have, and they took $7 million this year to adjust the rates, so it's only 6%. It doesn't take someone that's not very bright to figure out if you only have a $10 million reserve next year, how are you going to do that again? And who's going to pay that additional amount? And it's going to be the town and the people with the health insurance. So I want to know what they're going to do to address this. It may not seem related, but it is, and it goes
Ms.
to...
Harper, do you want to address that?
You had a lot of questions. I'm going to try and hit the big one. The town did experience a savings in health insurance as a result of health insurance reform, as did the employees, as a result of employees taking on additional risk. There was a premium reduction on both the town side and the employee side for fiscal 2014. In this most recent fiscal year, the town is sustaining a 9% increase in the health insurance rate to address just the issue that was raised, that the Cape Cod Municipal Health Group did use a significant portion of its fund balance to decrease the prospective rate increase for fiscal 2014. Now, in the last several years, the Cape Cod Municipal Health Group has not experienced the rate increases projected either by its manager or by the insurance companies themselves. The steering committee and the board of the health group, which is 26 member communities, voted to increase the amount of stabilization to reduce the rates for employees and municipalities in 2014. However, understanding that there is some risk involved there, the town is sustaining the 9% increase in fiscal 2014. Now, it's level funded because, as you just saw in this, or hopefully we'll see in this particular article, we are transferring out over about $500,000 for health insurance for the health insurance fund for employees, which will not be necessary next year.
Mr. Neto?
Joe Netto, Precinct 9. Mr. Moderator, through you to Mr. Suso. Who is the current health care provider for the town of Falmouth, Mr. Suso?
The current provider is a Cape Cod Municipal Health Group. We are self-insured through that organization.
This is the same speech I think I had and the same question that we had 4 or 5 years ago. I guess this is a repetitive town meeting tonight when the health care costs came up, and I want to say the same thing. I'm currently retired from another town other than Falmouth, and that town's health coverage is covered by the state plan GIC. I had asked the last town administrator to look into that because the state only gives you certain windows to look into. I keep up, as anyone else, with my health care costs being retired, and the state plan and the GIC is one of the most cost-effective in the state, and numerous towns are putting in to join this. It gives you good coverage, and it's good for the taxpayer. We're involved in a county-run 26 plan, self-insured, as we're dealing with the state. Would you please, would you please in the future have some information to give back to us? Because I don't think the plan may have saved us some money from what we had in the past is not the best plan for its members and the taxpayers, which of course pay for the plan along with the people who are enrolled. Did you have GIC when you were in Framingham, Mr. Sousa?
Mr. Sousa.
We did not have a GIC. We had our own plan in that particular town, but I will tell you that we followed a similar pattern to what is occurring here in Falmouth just through the Cape Cod Municipal Health Group. That is to monitor the GIC and to determine on an ongoing basis whether it is a better value for both municipality and its employees, and that does involve ongoing review and monitoring. I do want to caution that one of the things that became clear was that a number of municipalities that did affiliate with the GIC when that opportunity arose within the past 2 years regretted doing so, because I am familiar with a couple of those municipalities, and they suffered 2 cost increases to their employees within the calendar year that were never representative nor anticipated. And I know the previous town I was with was very pleased that they did not affiliate with GIC given what occurred, and that's why we will continue to monitor it here and make the recommendation that's in the best interest of the municipalities involved.
Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Who are you pointing at? Heather? No. No. Go ahead, Mr. Holcomb.
I realized that technically there was a savings, and I'm in the HMO Blue, and there was an actual savings, but in the PPO, there was no savings in the Blue Cross plan. It was the exact same price as the previous year. So, I think I've said enough on this, and I think we should just move the question, but there definitely needs to be an investigation into what is available that could save everyone money. So, thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Cousins-Long.
I'm going to talk about the white elephant in the room. I just want to say that my constituency over the years as being a town meeting member has a problem with town employees negotiating on the floor of town meeting. And I believe that that's what just happened. I want to thank Joe for bringing up any issues that he's versed about on this issue, but having the head of the union negotiate with the assistant town manager on town meeting floor, just not acceptable. Thank you.
Okay. The question will come on the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. And the chairs that the ayes have it. Article 8. Article 8, Finance Committee for the main motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the town vote $71,201 for Article 8, and I'm just correcting the article number.
Okay, so the main motion is what's in the recommendation, except for it's supposed to be Article 8. I call your attention to the fact that this is cleaning up some language for fiscal year 2013, so it's not in conflict with any actions that were taken in the annual town meeting last night. It's just to get the appropriate number on the books for the 2013 budget. Okay, any discussion on Article 8? Hearing none, the question will then come on the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 9, Madam Chairman, for the main motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move Article 9 as recommended.
As recommended, this is to vote to transfer the sum of $60,000 from certified free cash to line item number 01132-57785, Reserve Fund, into order to supplement the Reserve Fund. Any discussion on Article 9? Hearing none, the question will then come on the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 10, Madam Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I move Article 10 as recommended. And you're Mr. Moderator, by the way.
That's okay. As recommended, this is to vote to transfer the sum of $120,000 from certified free cash to fund additional software applications for the town school financial management system to be expended under the jurisdiction of the Information Technology Department. Any discussion on Article 10? Yep.
Now, Precinct 8. Can somebody please explain to me how this relates to the expenditure from the previous 2 years for software and computer technical articles?
Madam Chairman, or, Jen?
Thank you.
Ms. Petit.
This would finish the conversion. I believe 2 years ago you voted a conversion from the old financial management system to the new system, which is only a portion, which supports the accounting function and the treasurer function and produces financial statements, and also the payroll benefits portion. That was what was voted for 2 years ago. This will finish the conversion, and we'll use it for the collector's office to receive the revenue, utility billing, and also betterments. So it will be fully converted financial management software.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, then the question will come on the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Madam Chairman, Article 11.
Mr. Moderator, I move the town vote to transfer the sum of $36,000 from certified free cash to fund the installation of security systems at the Falmouth Public Schools and to be expended under the jurisdiction of the school committee.
Okay, the main motion is as recommended, changing the amount to $36,000. Any discussion on the main motion? Yep. Mr. Stetcher.
Bernie Stetcher, Precinct 3. I'm just curious, there's going to be cameras, or what type of security devices are we talking about?
Mr. Dupuy, do you want to share the plan?
Superintendent of Schools, this money would be used to install buzzer systems in 4 of the schools that do not have them. It would be Mullen Hall School, North Falmouth School, Morse Pond School, and Falmouth High School. The other 3 schools do have the buzzer systems currently in place.
Any further discussion on Article 11? Hearing none, then the question will come on the main motion as recommended with the change to $36,000. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 12. Madam Chairman, for the main motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the town vote to transfer the sum of $38,000 from certified free cash for the purpose of purchasing a fire chief's vehicle and to be expended under the jurisdiction of the town manager.
Okay, the main motion is as recommended, but we had to add in there that the money's coming from certified free cash. Any discussion on Article 12? Hearing none, then the question will come on the main motion as recommended from certified free cash. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 13, Madam Chairman.
I move Article 13 as recommended.
As recommended, this is to transfer the amount of $25,000 from certified free cash in order to purchase an ADA-compliant bathroom trailer for Minot Beach to be expended under the jurisdiction of the Beach Committee. Any discussion on Article 13? Hearing none, then the question will come on the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 14, Madam Chairman.
Mr. Moderator, I move Article 14 as recommended.
As recommended, this is to vote to transfer the sum of $225,000 from certified free cash in order to design, permit, and reconstruct a portion of the Shining Sea Bikeway and eroded oceanfront shoulder in the vicinity of Trunk River and to be expended under the jurisdiction of the Department of Public Works. Any discussion on Article 14? Nope, to my right.
Kelly Welch, Precinct 2. I'd like to know if we can hear about what the safeguards are, because I can envision being here, hopefully, in 5 years after another hurricane, and the entire path will be in the ocean because sand moves. And I don't envision this being the last time we have to talk about this. Can we hear about what the safeguards will be or what the planning process will be?
Yes, Mr. McConerty, our town engineer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Peter McConerty, town engineer. I did prepare a presentation for tonight. It's mostly photos of the existing damage that's done to the bikeway. To answer the question, as far as the safety considerations for the next 5 years, this portion of the bike path is located at the Trunk River section. It's basically from the Trunk River Bridge south towards Woods Hole for approximately 500 feet is the area that we're talking about. As everyone knows, this past fall, we got hit with Tropical Storm Sandy. We got Nemo. We had another storm in December, and it did some considerable damage for that first 500 feet from the bridge heading south. As you can see in the photos, the bike path, it's failed in many areas. The shoulder has undermined, it's collapsed, and it's in need of repair. Basically, what we're looking at doing for the first 300 feet, which is from the bridge to the end of the parking lot, is to have a contractor go in, restore the shoulders, restore the armament where the shoulders are falling through. There's some washouts where the armament is going through the armament, with some filter fabric areas, and repave that location. To my knowledge, that first 300-foot section there has not been hit since Hurricane Bob, and that was back in 1991, was the last time we did some damage. I'd like to back up a couple of slides if you'd like. That's the area of the washouts where the armament is. Slide, please. This area right here is a constant problem that we've been having since 2007 when I joined Falmouth. Basically, what we do in this area, it's about 200 feet long. We've been trying to fix this portion of the bike path. It's right where the armament stops. If anyone rides the bike path, I'm sure you'll know. It's about 200 feet long, 220 feet long. It's right where the armament stops. This area constantly gets washed out approximately every 2 years. And what happens is we restore it with a soft solution. Working with the Conservation Commission, we try to do sand barriers, small stones with some filter fabric. And we did it in 2007, we did it in 2009. We repaired it in 2012, the spring of 2012, and then we got hit with Sandy, and we got hit with the other storms. And as you can see, this is what we're left. The photos don't really do any justice to it. If you stand on the beach and you look at that, look at the bike path, that's about a 2-foot drop between the pavement and the where the sand is, where that filter fabric is. So the area constantly gets wiped out. Another concern is under the bike path in this section is the sewer force main that runs from Woods Hole. It's approximately 5 feet below the bike path. This is already 2 feet. This is normal, what we've been restoring. It's usually 2 to 3 feet what we have to restore. In this area, we're looking to do basically for this $225,000. $100,000 would be the repair of the first 300 feet, would be the asphalt repair and the shoulder repair. The other $125,000 would be for, we're looking to do another solution to this. It needs permitting. The plans have been done, but we need to go through permitting through the Conservation Commission. And we're looking for, this would be more of a harder solution. But if you go to the next slide. This is the area looking towards Woods Hole. You'll see where it's been damaged. There's actually some washouts in the asphalt and the pavement where it's breaking off. Slide, please. And this photo right here is actually a photo taken right at the Great Pond Bridge. It's at Minot Road. This is vinyl sheeting that was installed in approximately early 2000s, 2001, 2002. It has a wood cap on it. And basically what it is it's driven below the low water line. The area at the bike path that we're looking at to be fixed in this area, it would be about approximately that height, 2 feet high. And what happens is, as the storms come throughout the year, that sand rises and it lowers to the sheeting. So it gets higher and it gets lower. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. This picture was actually taken this afternoon, and this is what it looks like on Minot Road. So this could be a solution to doing that section, that 200-foot section of the area. So basically what we're looking at doing is restoring the bike path for the first 300 feet and then doing some type of a harder solution for the other 200 feet. And we're looking to go for, we have the plans, we're looking to do the design, we're looking to do the permitting, and go in for the construction. At this point, it's dangerous down on the Trunk River. There's no lighting. It's at the parking lot. So anytime before dusk, before dawn or after dusk, it can be very dangerous down there, and people can get hurt. It's starting to get busy down there. The asphalt plants they're actually opened up. So what we're looking to see if we can get this fixed in the upcoming months before it starts getting busy out there in the May, June.
Okay, Mr. Duffney.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Michael Duffney, Precinct 6. I just wanted to speak to this issue while we're discussing the repairs to the bike path, and just to present to you a different scenario that has nearly happened and is going to happen one of these days, and that's when we have to face the repair of the entire stretch of Surf Drive or actual replacement of the road and all the issues that are going to arise from that. And what I'm getting at is that I think that the town should, number one, establish the cost of what it would be if that road were torn up. When in Hurricane Bob, it literally was picked up and moved about 6 feet. We were very fortunate that it didn't just end up in the marsh. What I'd like to see the town consider a serious renourishment project over the course of time, and I know that sand moves. I believe that Mother Nature has the last say, but I also believe that we do have some say in the matter, and that without our beaches, we have nothing. And this is just a good example of what can happen in one storm overnight when you don't have any protection, as you can see even in this photo here. It's not a lot of distance between the roads and the water line, and if that whole facing side of the road, and in this case here the bike path, were renourished out some distance, 50 feet, or maybe like we were going to do at Chappaquiddick once for 100 feet, you'd have a beach there for a good long time. And yes, you would dredge it out of Falmouth Harbor and put it back, and you dredge it out of some of the other ponds and put it back. But again, what is the cost of replacing this here if you can do it? And really think seriously, what's the cost of replacing Surf Drive if you have to? I'm all for taking the sand off the road in a big storm with front-end loaders and putting it back out on the beach like they do in California, so they still have the beach, as opposed to, you know, watching it go away and then say that it's just what Mother Nature wants and that's what's going to have to happen. I think we have some say in it, so thank you.
Okay, Mr. Wilbur, and then Ms. Whitehead.
Jude Wilbur, Precinct 8. I refer everybody again in the room to the 10-year study that was suggested and came into effect at my request on the state of our shorelines, the South Shore and the Buzzards Bay Shore. The Coastal Research Working Group spent 10 years, hundreds of thousands of hours, volunteer hours, studying this. The reports are online. They are unique in the entire United States. They are very clear as to what the choices are for the town of Falmouth. They're very clear as to regard to coastal processes. They're very simple. Sand just doesn't move. In this case, there is no sand in Trunk River. If you've ever been down there, that's now what's called a shingle beach. That is, there's just rocks. There's no sand. There hasn't been sand in the Trunk River area of these sites on the bike path for over 20 years. So dumping sand out there is, like I've said before, just dump pennies out there. You know, that'll probably do better than sand. These are huge wastes of money that we've been voting for 20 years. Just huge wastes of money. Doesn't matter if we put vinyl sheeting up. You know, it doesn't matter if we put up the seawalls that they had along the coast of New Jersey and into New York. Those things don't work anymore. The suggestions and the choices that are in those reports, I just don't understand why the town ignores them. I just don't understand why the town ignores them. We're in such desperate financial condition, and we want to throw an initial $225,000 into the water and then follow it up with maybe another $250,000. And the bike path is going to be in the same shape the next time a storm on the order of Sandy or Nemo, I guess we now have to name nor'easters too. I don't know where they're finding the nor'easter names, but this is a no-brainer, folks. It's a no-brainer. Don't spend your money on that.
Ms. Whitehead, and then Ms. Flynn.
Lynn Whitehead, Precinct 1. I just have one question. The bridge at Trunk River is falling apart, and we go over it a lot, and wondered if that was included in your plan.
Mr. McConerty? The bridge?
The bridge is not included in the plan. The bridge is a whole other project. It's, you get into stream crossings, and the bridge is in tough shape. That would be a separate project in itself.
Okay. Ms. Flynn?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Pat Flynn, Precinct 6. My question is for Peter McConerty, and I do realize and understand the important issues raised by both Mike Duffany and Jude Wilbur, and I think those are very serious concerns that all of us will have to consider, especially those who live along the shore. But my question is this project eligible for FEMA funding?
Mr. McConerty?
Yes, it is. During that storm, after the storm, we had initial damage assessment reports done. We met with FEMA representatives and MEMA representatives, and come into town to look at several projects. The bike path is one of them. It's valued for 75% of the project. They're fully aware of the project. We've been through the design plans with the MEMA and the FEMA and the representatives. They're fully aware of it. They're doing their project initiation forms. We're moving to get forward, if this passes through town meeting tonight, we're moving forward with our project design. There's two facets to the FEMA reimbursement. One facet is to bring it back to existing conditions where it is today. And the second facet is a mitigation, and you can do double the cost of the damage to the mitigation, so it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So they will go up to twice the damage on the area that constantly gets washed out. But to answer the question, it is reimbursable with FEMA, and we do have the paperwork underway.
Okay. Mr. Nedesico?
Jim Nedesico, Precinct 2. I'm wondering, in reference to Peter's presentation, if we've posted signs out there denoting the danger in certain areas, just concerned about possible liability issues.
Mr. McConerty?
I do believe that, signage can be put out there, but if you're looking at a bike path with that many visitors throughout the year, throughout the tourist season, in an area that's unlit, and you're basically inviting people over to a public path for recreation on the water, and you know that there could be some conditions in the area down there, I do not believe that would completely remedy you from any liability.
Mr. Johnson?
Leonard Johnson, Precinct 5. With all due consideration to Mr. Wilbur's comments, that's a long-term solution. We've got a short-term safety problem here that's a very serious problem. If you bike down there, as I do all the time, there's no room for people to go, and it's a one-way, in effect. And on a mid-week day last July, the Cape Cod Commission did a count, and there were 3,000 people using the bike path during the day from 7 to 7. There's just too many people on that heavily used area, and I know we've got some problems with sand and everything else, but you have a serious safety problem that in the short run has to be fixed. Thank you.
Ms. Walsh? And then Mr. Wilbur. Ms. Walsh, and then Mr. Wilbur.
I completely agree that we do need to fix it, but I would prefer to see a reasonable expense fixed for this year so that people can come and enjoy the bike path, but that the engineer or whoever will come back to town meeting with a longer term plan. And if it involves moving that section of the bike path 30 yards instead of trying to keep it where it is, I would rather spend $500,000 and have it last than keep throwing money into the ocean.
Okay, Mr. Wilbur?
I agree that there's a problem there, and the problem keeps coming back, and we keep throwing money at it, and the problem keeps coming back. So at some point in time, you got to ask yourself, is the problem fixable at all? Second, FEMA or no FEMA, and despite the claims of the people in New Jersey to rebuild, it's not going to happen. There's a town in New Jersey called Seabright, New Jersey that's no longer there, so there's nothing to rebuild. They can't rebuild the town because it's gone. Everything that they had, all the infrastructure, it's just gone, and FEMA's not going to give them money to try to rebuild something that's a total disaster. What is happening in New Jersey is exactly what has been recommended by the working group, the Coastal Working Group, and by this woman who just spoke, and that is a planned, prioritized, phased retreat from the danger zones of the coastline. Let me say that again, a planned, phased, prioritized retreat from the most dangerous zones of the coastline, those ones that we're trying to fix that are basically unfixable. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Heath?
Austin Heath, Precinct 8. I'm in favor of spending the $250,000, and basically this is a business deal. We have and depend upon the tourists and the summer homeowners that come to Falmouth every summer. And the bike path, especially along the South Shore, have become a real attraction. In fact, it's so attractive that we don't use it myself in the summertime. But we will get our $250,000 back in business. We have to keep the bike path open until we have an alternative. Mr. Wilbur is correct, and the speaker before him. We should be making long-term plans to move the bike path. We're not going to stop the erosion, and we're not going to stop the waves. And it's been eroding ever since that I remember in the late 40s and early 50s. I'm going to approve, I vote to approve the motion. Thank you.
Okay, last one, Mr. Dick, and then I think we're ready to vote.
I echo some of the sentiments that have been said here. Henry Dick, Precinct 8, including Mr. Duffy's. However, it is a simple fact that, for example, on a shingle beach where you have fairly high current activity, replenishing it will just guarantee the sand will move away in a couple of years. I'm sure Jude could give you chapter and verse on that. It's not a good investment. I think we need to approach the town's shoreline exactly as some people have mentioned here is that sea level's rising. Global change is real, whether it's man-driven or just natural, it's real. And sea level's rising, and we're going to be facing, over the next 50 years, successively greater problems with our shoreline. And this needs to be studied carefully. There are some beaches where you can nourish the beach and the sand will stay on it for a period of time that will recoup the investment. There are others, like this stretch of beach, which throwing sand on it is just, as he said, it's not throwing pennies into the water, it's throwing quarters into the water. You're simply not going to get back investment in tourism on that. So we need to have a shorelines commission in this town that considers these things carefully and also starts the planning for moving the town back, because that's something we may have to face in the next 50 years. Thank you.
Okay, the question will come on Article 14, the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it by a majority. Article 15, Madam Chairman, for the main motion.
As recommended.
As recommended. Article 15 is to vote to transfer $40,000 from the Waterways Improvement Account for design and permitting services for the reconstruction of the Town Landing parking lot, stone retaining wall, and wooden wharf located at Old Dock Road in West Falmouth, and to be expended under the jurisdiction of the Marine and Environmental Services Department. Discussion on Article 15. Ms. Haywood.
Nancy Hayward, Precinct 5. I was interested in knowing who was going to write the RFP for this. What type of person? We have in the Marine and Environmental Services Department, we have a natural resources officer, and we have the the harbor master. This is an
Yeah, I think we have an
this
answer
is
here from
about
Mr. McConerty.
dock
I think he can answer that
construction.
for you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
McConerty?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Yes, the RFP will be written with the Marine and the Environmental Department, along with the Engineering Department. Plans for that dock, plans for that, with that dock, the wall, and that whole section of Old Dock Road have already been prepared. In 2009, if we all remember, folks that drive Old Dock Road, it was repaved, it was reconstructed, and with new drainage installed. So we already have the plans, we already have the base plans for that project. So we're that much further ahead. The property is all land corded, the property lines are all set. So the base plans are set. We'll just be moving right into design.
Any further discussion on Article 15? Ms. Haywood?
Nancy Hayward, Precinct 5. I'm a member of the Falmouth Historical Commission, and I guess I have a comment as a member of the Falmouth Historical Commission. There's documentation for the historic dock at this location. Is this just going to move forward into an engineering exercise so that I'm going to come around the corner and find out that you've moved or taken away rocks? This, I understand, seems trivial to you, but I think I'm a little late to this show, and I have documentation about this, and is this totally moot, and this project is going to happen?
Mr. McConerty?
Yes, what these design the request is for the design and the permitting of the project. And then after the design and the permitting, what had happened back in 2010, I had actually had meetings with the West Falmouth Village Association, and we worked with the Historical Society to put that dock and that ramp under CPA. We were looking to put it under the CPA for historical documentation. My understanding that it's now on the historical inventory?
Mr. Moderator,
Ms.
to
Hayward.
Mr. McConerty, I apparently, as I said, I have missed some, not a paragraph, it sounds like I must have missed a chapter. I'm unclear about this, and appreciate your comments, and I will try to get tuned into this somehow. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any further discussion on Article 15? Mr. Wilbur?
I'd just like to say that I consider this to be a good expenditure of money on our coastline.
Okay. So maybe this will be unanimous. All those in favor of Article 15 as recommended signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 16, Mr. Chairman, Community Preservation Committee.
Peter Clark, Chairman of the Community Preservation Committee, Precinct 1. On Article 16, I would like to change the numbers but keep the language. So the motion is to pass this as recommended, but the total cost supported by the community preservation, if I can have slide 3, you'll see the numbers. But the total cost will be $86,251 paid by the Community Preservation Committee. That replaces the number $75,000 in the second line. And the additional money will be taken out of the Historic Preservation Reserve, so the number in the second to last line, which is $20,000, becomes $707, excuse me. So those two numbers, you'll see 86,251 up in the second line on the slide up above, and it's in two pieces, 45,000 from undesignated fund balance. That stays the same. What comes out of the Historic Preservation Reserve is increased. So I'd like to move with those new numbers, please.
Okay, as recommended with the numerical changes on the overhead slide. Discussion on Article 16. Hearing none, then the question will come on the main motion as recommended with the appropriate changes. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, majority.
I move Article 17 as recommended.
As recommended, this is to transfer the sum or the amount of $14,902 from the Community Preservation Undesignated Fund Balance for the purpose of community housing to the Falmouth Affordable Housing Fund. Any discussion on Article 17? Hearing none, then the question will come on the main motion as recommended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous.
Mr. Moderator, may I go back to Article 16 to just say one quick word, please? It's not a change of the recommendation. It's just a comment.
Quick.
That this is a very unique partnership with the 300 Committee. In their effort to preserve open space, they are confronted with buildings, and it's nice that we can help with our money to preserve the building while they're preserving the property. And the Friends of the Silo have raised quite a bit of money to help with this project. Thank you. On Article 18.
Article 18, the recommendation is indefinite postponement. Does anyone want to make a positive motion? Hearing none, the chair would entertain indefinite postponement as the main motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 19, the recommendation is indefinite postponement from the Board of Selectmen. Anyone want to put a positive motion on the floor for Article 19? Hearing none, the chair will entertain indefinite postponement as the main motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Article 20, the recommendation is indefinite postponement by the Board of Selectmen. Mr. Chairman.
I move that the town adopt Article 20 as printed, and I'd like to defer it to the town manager or assistant town manager.
Okay, the main motion, Article 20 as printed. This is to authorize the Board of Selectmen to grant an easement on or under, through, and across Mill Road parking lot, a portion of Surf Drive, and a portion of Surf Drive Beach for the installation and maintenance of a combined power and broadband communication cable to Martha's Vineyard upon such terms and conditions as the Board of Selectmen deems reasonable and proper. And for a presentation, Ms. Harper.
I'm going to try this
guess verbally first, and then if there are questions, we can move into presentations. As you recall, this article was on the last town meeting warrant, and we were unable to provide you any significant details about the project or any compensation that the town may receive in exchange for both a temporary license agreement and a permanent easement. Since last town meeting over the course of the winter, we issued and advertised a request for proposals as required to dispose of municipal land. We received a response in early March. That technical response was evaluated by the town engineer and determined to be responsive, as well as the Board of Selectmen heard a presentation by both NSTAR and Comcast on the project itself. In addition, those agencies have been involved in a very rigorous permitting process, including the Cape Cod Commission, will involve the Conservation Commission, as well as the state and federal government for Army Corps of Engineer permitting. So that process is ongoing and has not yet been concluded. Also, over the last several weeks, we've been meeting with Comcast and NSTAR and discussing the terms of compensation. The value of this property to purchase is in the range of $460,000. In exchange for a temporary license agreement and permanent easement, NSTAR and Comcast have offered a variety of in-kind projects to the town based on some suggestions that the town included in its RFP. The value of those projects is $267,000 and includes a variety of both technical proposals from Comcast, including integrated traffic signalization for 8 traffic signals, providing live drops and equipment for both the Herman Foundation meeting room in the library and the Civil Defense room in Town Hall, including feedback to a modulator, which would allow for live broadcasts from that meeting room. There would be a significant project in the project area, and that is NSTAR's investment in approximately $140,000 to address drainage in the Mill Road area. Now, that's a project that the town had intended to move forward with in the next year. We'd set aside $136,000 for that project. With this agreement, that those funds could be distributed to another project. In addition, NSTAR has come back in the last week or so at the town's request to consider adding some LED lights in the area of Main Street for the decorative lamps that are on Main Street. So there are some significant proposals. The entire package is, of course, subject to a public hearing, which is scheduled on April 22nd. All abutters within 300 feet of the project have received that notification. That will be held before the Board of Selectmen, and the easement and license agreement themselves are subject to the Board of Selectmen's ratification. This vote simply grants the authority to the board.
Okay, Mr. Latimer.
Richard Latimer, Precinct 2, a member of the Planning Board. We were asked for a referral from the selectmen, and we have discussed it, but I'm speaking for myself. The first thing to know about this is this is a project for the benefit of another community and for the benefit of a multi-million or billion-dollar communications company. Utility. It's not going to be for the benefit of the town of Falmouth. So I have a couple of basic questions as to whether it is worth it for us to do this or whether we're getting the best deal. First question is, do we know what the projected profit and or cost savings is going to be for the utility? If we don't know that, then the dollar figures that were being thrown out, we don't know whether that's, $12.47 or whether it's something significant. I would want to know that. The second thing I would want to know is what are we going to get by way of a bond to ensure that when, not if, but when those cables, when the currents that we've been talking about just a half a mile down the road there in Vineyard Sound, when those cables get exposed, they're going to maintain it, sure, but what do we have by way of a bond to make sure that those cables stay covered? Thank you.
Ms. Harper.
Well, I don't have the answer to the first question, but I can tell you that the project is a redundant service cable for both Comcast and NSTAR. Representatives of both companies are here this evening. If you would like to hear a presentation by them, they are here. And the second question, which just escaped me, I'm sorry. The indemnification and the bond, those were both very fully articulated in the RFP. I don't have the answer off the top of my head, but I did work with town council to ensure that there was the proper bonding and indemnification. I can further comment that the directional drilling and installation of the cable is to 30 to 40 feet below grade. And any other technical questions I would defer to both agencies.
Mr. Latimer.
It probably will be interesting to hear what the company representatives have to say, making their own case. But that basic first question I asked as to what is the value of this particular project to the, the utility, as that would reflect on what we should be demanding as a price, is something that I believe the selectmen should have known before coming to us. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion on Article 20? Yep, Mr. Noonan.
Yeah, John Noonan, Precinct 6. Just a quick question. I missed some of those numbers because they were coming out so fast. But I thought that you said that the town had appropriated $136,000, and NSTAR said that the cost to do the work that the town was going to do for $136,000. I thought you said that it was $220,000 or $230,000.
Projects is a little over $267,000 estimated in-kind service. The town's estimate on just the Mill Road was $136,000. The reserve that NSTAR has placed on that for in-kind service is $140,000, but that includes the value of NSTAR conducting all of the permitting required.
Thank you. Another question I have is there going to be a plant placed on this property, or is it just wires running down Mill Road and across to the vineyard? And are they going to have to replace poles and do a tremendous amount of tree work on Mill Road as we've seen them cutting across the town?
I would ask the representatives of NSTAR and Comcast to respond to those questions.
Representatives from either of the companies want to talk about, you're going to do a plant down there, or you just putting the wires underground? And I'm going to ask that we just answer the question unless there's another question asked, because yeah, Ms. Murphy, I got you on the list. You don't have to keep jumping around back there.
Okay, thanks. Jumping around on the back? No seat.
If you could just answer the question about what the installation is planned to be. Are you a resident, citizen, or taxpayer of Falmouth?
I am not a resident of Falmouth.
Okay, the question will come before the body to let the gentleman speak. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. Gentleman has the floor.
My name is Henry Oheim. I'm a project director with NSTAR, and I'm representing NSTAR here tonight. We also have members from our permitting agency, Epsilon Associates, and our other partner, Comcast. To answer the question about the cable itself, the cable is going to be directionally drilled from the Mill Road parking lot approximately 2,800 to 3,200 feet out into the ocean. This is to get past sensitive eelgrass beds that we do not want to disturb. The directional drill is a technique that will put the cable about 30 to 40 feet under the surface of the ocean. It will come up in the ocean beyond the eelgrass beds, and from that point on all the way over in Vineyard Sound, it's trenched with a trenching machine that will put it anywhere from 3 to 8 feet in depth in the ocean. It will not just be laid on the bottom.
Okay, thank you, sir. Ms. Murphy?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Carol Murphy, Precinct 9. Could you tell me if there's any consideration about leasing this area on a long-term basis from the town of Falmouth, the utility companies paying an annual rental agreement for this space underneath this ground?
We typically seek easements for this. This is what we have for our existing cables as opposed to a leasing agreement. The easement is not going to restrict the use by town people or tourists of the property. I think there was a question one of the gentlemen asked about overhead facilities. All of the N-Star cables for this will be underground. There will be no overhead facilities that will be visible at all along the path all the way to the Mill Road parking lot. We will have manhole covers. That'll be about the only thing you see. There will be a couple of manhole covers in the parking lot. Everything else will be below grade.
Follow up, Ms. Murphy.
I understand that, but it's in the best financial interest of the town that I'm looking at. Would a lease, a long-term lease, be better for the town than just to take a flat sum of money and grant them an easement?
Well, what we're offering the town, and like I say, this is not just N-Star, this is N-Star and Comcast, is a series of projects that we are willing to take on in behalf of the town to provide services to the town as remuneration for this easement. The easement's not that big. I mean, it's literally less than a tenth of an acre, so it's a small easement. It goes under the beach, it goes under Surf Drive, and it takes up a portion of the Mill Road parking lot. But like I say, all the facilities, when we're done, will be below grade, so it will not restrict the use of the lot. So we would prefer to, make some sort of payment or financial arrangement like we have with the town as opposed to a long-term lease. But again, this is something that if the town wants that, we would have to discuss with them.
Mr. Dick, and then Ms. O'Connell.
This seems Henry Dick, Precinct 8, also president of the Coonamessett Pond Association, on which and through which and around which run certain utility lines of N-Star. And this seems like a very good time to remember N-Star's behavior in Hatchville in the last 2 years, where they literally raped a large number of neighbors,
Okay.
took
Folks, let's go.
bulldozers,
Folks.
chainsaws. No, I'm
Let's
sorry,
go.
Dave, this is quite relevant.
No, Mr. Dick, I didn't quiet you down. I quieted down the undercurrent.
Okay. Literally mowed down large areas, people's gardens, little old ladies in tears. You had the right to do it, and your response was utterly arrogant. So I want to know, how much money will this save you? Because we want a chunk of it in recompense for what you did in Hatchville.
I can't speak to the Hatchville experience. I really didn't have anything to do with that, so I don't have any personal information that I can share with you about that. I will tell you that as a result of many storms that we've had in the past, the regulatory agencies, both federal and state, have been after all utilities nationally, not just N-Star, not just in Massachusetts, to make sure their right-of-ways are clear. And they have to be clear of vegetation so the trees don't fall down in transmission lines. That has been a problem that has been plaguing many utilities around the country and has caused some major blackouts. So we are required to do this, okay? It's not like we have a choice. And if we don't do it, we will be fined heavily if we have a tree take down a transmission line.
I've got Ms. O'Connell on this. Is it a follow-up to the question? Okay.
We're not talking about trees that would fall on the power lines. We're talking about cutting as wide a swath as possible after N-Star was required to stop using herbicides. We're talking about rose bushes and rhododendrons and low plants. We're talking about people's gardens. And N-Star's response was intolerable. And I think we need to remember that when we deal with N-Star in this town meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. O'Connell? And then Mr. Fox.
Yes, Maureen O'Connell, Precinct 4. With your permission, Mr. Moderator, I'm wondering how long, the long-term lease, how long is long? Just wondering, I think there's something in the order of $600,000 or $700,000 of in-kind, but I don't know how many years that represents in
Well, this isn't a lease, this is an easement.
And a long-term easement, how long is a long-term
It's in
easement?
perpetuity once you issue it, unless you revoke it.
So we'll have a finite amount of agreement, and then they'll have a permanent easement. That's all I'm.
If you
that's
vote
my
for it, yeah,
understanding?
it would be an
Okay.
easement. You authorize the Board of
Okay.
Selectmen to enter an easement. If you wanted the Selectmen to go the lease option, you'd vote no on this article, and I think they got the message if you voted no. Mr. Fox?
Question on clarification that it was said, I think Heather mentioned that there was going to be drainage work done on Mill Road. I believe Mill Road's already done. The engineering department did a great job. And I think, are you talking about Surf Drive? But Mill Road is fine. Which is it?
Mr. Moderator,
Ms. Harper?
thank you for the opportunity to clarify. It is drainage on Surf Drive, but this will allow us to use the drainage structure that has been developed as part of the Mill Road
The
project.
repairs are on Surf Drive because the
Correct.
engineering did a great job on Mill Road.
They did.
Thank you.
It's about 1,000 feet to the west of the intersection of Surf Drive and Mill Road on Surf Drive.
Okay. Mr. Latimer?
Thank you again, Richard Latimer, Precinct 2. Henry Dick hit the nail square on the head as to what a good neighbor NSTAR has been historically in this town with respect to its easements. Yes, they have to keep the transmission wires clear. They were spraying toxic sprays that are harmful to us, people who live in the area, as well as to wildlife. The state told them to stop spraying. So in their high dudgeon, corporate dudgeon, they just went in and they went to the full extent of their authority, clearing everybody's land. As Henry said, not just trees, not just something that's going to grow up or even could possibly grow up to interfere with the wires, but gardens, rosebuds. In so doing, they've damaged the property. This is
Point of order. I hear where you're coming from, Andy. Let's.
No,
we
I'm
know
going to get- I'm going to
we
get-
know what NSTAR did in Hatchville. Okay,
All right,
everyone's
then-
aware of that, and let's focus on whether or not
All
you
right.
want to offer them and Comcast this easement. If you don't, vote no on it.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. These people well know how long the lifespan of this project is going to be. They well know how much they're going to save or make profits every year. They're willing to spend massive amounts of money to dig a 30-foot deep trench. So we know that the profits they're going to be expecting on this project are very huge, and they're offering us, what, a couple $100,000? That is chump change. I say vote no. Thank you.
Mr. Finneran?
Through you, Mr. Moderator, just a couple of simple questions. I'd like to know when they intend on starting this project.
Ms. Harper?
Would you please put the presentation up?
Ms. Harper, the question was, when do they intend to start the project? If we could just answer that question. When do they intend to start the project was the question.
The project, well, it's ongoing now. The permitting has already begun. The construction in Falmouth is planned in October of next fall. And with...
Okay. My second question is, if that's the case, why isn't this thing in writing so we can all see it and just vote on it?
That's an excellent question. We received proposals early in March. The review of those proposals was done in the middle of the month. We heard back from the town engineer. The negotiations and the proposals, as I mentioned, the initial proposal in the RFP response from these two companies was $100,000 of in-kind projects. As a result of negotiation with the town manager over the last several days, concluding just a day or two ago, increased that value from $100,000 to $267,000. I'd like to just walk through those projects so you're all very clear on what they are. Next slide, please. There are several. There's an integrated traffic signalization project, which includes 4 municipal traffic signals activating dark fiber that's currently part of the system, providing the town with an opportunity to integrate its signals, as well as 4 state signals that will allow the town access to that asset as well. If the town were to install that itself, it would be significantly more expensive than the proposed compensation value, which is a little over $40,000. The live drops and equipment for broadcast for the Herman Foundation meeting room and the Civil Defense meeting room are projects that the town has desired to implement for some time. This project allows both the technical integration as well as the equipment to make that happen. And then the following is the modulator for live broadcast from the Civil Defense room. The permitting and construction of the Mill Road drainage improvements is, as you know, a project that the town was intending to move forward with, and allows that project to move forward in an integrated project as this construction activity is happening with NSTAR. And then lastly, at the request of the town manager, where there was an additional project added for some energy efficient light bulbs, which obviously has energy savings values to the town. And just a final note is that the way that the compensation for this particular project is based for a land disposition for an easement is based on what the value of the property is, and that is a little over $460,000 if NSTAR were going to go and purchase the very same parcel. They are going to be utilizing permanently about a quarter of the parcel underground. Therefore, we felt that a recommended value of $267,000 was commensurate with what their long-term use of the property might be.
Okay.
This was this October that it's supposed to start, or next October?
2013? 2013.
2013. So there wouldn't be another town meeting before this began?
Our next town meeting, hopefully, is until November, but
yeah. Okay.
we'll see what happens after the break. All right, right there in the back. Yep. The gentleman in the back, yep. In the back, right there, yep. The gentleman with the microphone.
Hi, Jack Scanlon, Precinct 5. I have a question, not about the easement, but about the cable. It's going across a valuable scallop bed. We still have guys out there scalloping. Today I saw someone. I know the selectmen extended that scallop season. What's the damage to those scallops in the fishery out there? Any answer?
Is the gentleman a resident, citizen, or taxpayer of the town? No. Okay, the question will come to allow the gentleman to answer the question. He's not a resident, citizen, or taxpayer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The gentleman has the floor.
We have several slides. It might be helpful to show those.
The slides about the scallop thing?
It shows the project and how we'll be
Okay.
avoiding impacts. My name is Les Smith. I'm an environmental consultant with Epsilon Associates. This particular photograph shows the location of the parking lot. We'll be working in that near corner of the parking lot. Next, please. In terms of scallops, in the upper left-hand corner, Vern Oheim described our horizontal directional drill. We'll be going down 25 to 30 feet below the beach, the dune, and the near shore. We'll be going out approximately 2,600 feet, well beyond eelgrass beds and scallop beds. We've been working with the state ocean team, Coastal Zone Management, the Division of Marine Fisheries, who have signed off on the project, Natural Heritage, who have signed off on the project. We've been through the entire MEPA process. We've had very favorable reviews because we've been working closely with these agencies. In terms of the other impact avoidance here, the only ground level change to this particular lot will be 2 manholes. We'll be trenching from here over to an existing utility pole. No new utility poles will be utilized. The electric line will connect into an existing vault over here. There will be no exposed electric lines in this particular location. In terms of construction mitigation, we'll be using work lights that will be shielded and directed away from the neighbors, and we'll have mitigation of various noise in terms of construction equipment. We'll also be following the town's code in terms of regulations regarding the construction hours. We can also review with you, if you find it's necessary, the offers that we have.
Resident citizen taxpayer?
Yes.
Okay.
Mary O'Keefe, Senior Manager of Government and Regulatory Affairs for Comcast. I know Ms. Harper has already mentioned these signalized intersections, and this is the list of the roads that was presented to us by the town, and then the total dollar value to the town, $43,460. I'll just briefly go through this list. Next slide, please. Ms. Harper also mentioned the live connection to the library and the meeting room, and the additional equipment provided to allow live broadcasting. Next slide, please. Same thing at the Civil Defense meeting room and Town Hall, and the equipment. Item number 4, the next slide. Again, the rebuilding of the road surface to rechannel the surface water during heavy rains. Project NSTAR will take on for approximately $140,000. Number 5, approximately 40 street lights, replacing the existing lighting system with LED luminaires valued at $42,000. And the last slide is the total number of, one more slide, please. It's just, again, a summary of all of it at $267,710. Mr. Moderator, if I could, clarification in talking about the benefits to Comcast. The services that we're providing now to the island are via fibers that we are leasing from NSTAR. We basically have one path to the island. Our sole purpose for this project is to allow us to have another path, both redundant and diverse. So if there is a failure in that fiber that we're currently leasing now, we're able to provide, you know, at a blink of an eye, in a sense, services to remain on the island. So that's phone, internet, cable services. So we don't see this as an opportunity to really increase our offerings to customers. It's really just to give more reliable service. We all know when we lose services, whether it's power or our Comcast services, how valuable they are to us. So this is really just an insurance policy for us to make sure that we're providing the most reliable service. We have redundant service in Falmouth. We have redundant service everywhere, except on the island where we only have one path of connectivity. So it's about reliability and taking care of our customers. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Putnam.
Yeah, I got a huge list here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Brent Putnam, Vice Chairman, Board of Selectmen. We were here not long ago having this discussion before about what Falmouth was going to get for this easement. The board listened to town meeting's concerns, and we came back after negotiating with the utilities this proposal. What I'd like to remind you all is that there are limits to what the board and what the town can and cannot do. We are governed by the state, and the state governs the public utilities that stand here this evening asking for this easement. While we may all be upset about what happened in Hatchville, we can only negotiate a reasonable use, what you see here before you, for the easement that is proposed, which really is of almost no impact to the area proposed. Nobody would even notice once the work is done that anything was done. That is the limits of what we can do here. If this body decides to vote against this easement, I would remind you that the utilities have the right and the ability to go to the Public Utilities Commission, make their case, and then we'll get none of this. Vote carefully. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Allegro, I've got a growing list, so I'm on anything new. Mr. Allegro.
Mark Allegro, 7th Precinct. So I'm a new voice added to this. I wasn't here for previous commentary and negotiations, but I can say this, as a new voice, I would not take a deal in which I wasn't diligent enough to know what the value of the project was. Several $100,000 seems like peanuts to me, and if I were striking this deal for myself, I would say, let the state Public Utilities Commission make their decision if they see fit to. It's not worth it to us to just take a deal for peanuts. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Peterson, next on the list.
Laura Peterson, Precinct 3. My question would be, so based on what Selectman Putnam said, so are we not allowed to ask for a lease on this? I mean, is that something that's outside of the scope? Only because if this was my business, just same as said before, I don't even, whatever percentage that is of the project, I think it would be reasonable for us as a town to ask for a lease, something that's, I mean, you have 5 representatives here from Comcast and NSTAR to sell us this deal. It's a valuable project. So I would like to research the lease. I'd like to vote against this and research the lease avenue of this and get, because who knows where this technology is going to go in the future. We're dealing with right now. And once you give away an easements forever, and I'd like to have the chance to look back at it again as technology grows in the future, and maybe we'll be a leader. Maybe we'll be one of the first towns to ask for a lease instead of an easement. Thank you.
Mr. Putnam?
Quite honestly, in conferring with the folks up here, we're not sure if a lease is possible. The precedent has always been an easement because, again, these are public utilities. And on the subject of the value of the project, we really don't get to share in the profits of the utilities as much as we might like to. The reality is that this project, while it may not benefit Falmouth, it is of benefit to Martha's Vineyard and the communities there. And if we obstruct this, the communities there and the public utilities can simply go around us and say, Falmouth didn't want to do anything for us, so we're asking the state to do something for us. And again, instead of compensatory projects for the use of this land for something that is going to be left unscathed and there'll be virtually no impact, we'll get nothing.
The gentleman in the center aisle here. You're on the list, yeah. I'll add you to the list.
Thank you. Jim Callahan, Precinct 5. I'm curious. We have storms, we have hurricanes, we have nor'easters, trees fall. Our beautiful town is looking more third world as we go with these ridiculous wooden poles going up that we're dependent upon. In your discussions with NSTAR, was there any talk about saying, all right, we'll take the 267,000 or whatever, and like Main Street that looks so good, let's start putting these things underground?
Okay, Mr. Dufresne? To call the question? All right, Mr. Dufresne is moving the previous question. This is to close discussion. All those in favor of moving the previous question signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. And the chairs that the ayes have it, and the question is closed. The question will now come on the main motion to authorize the Board of Selectmen to grant an easement on or under, through and across the Mill Road parking lot, et cetera, et cetera. This requires a 2/3. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. No. All those in favor signify by standing, and the tellers a return account. Doesn't look as, it's the 2/3. That's where there's definitely a majority, but yep. Yeah. You got them? You got the head table? You got the head table? 46? In the first division, Mr. Sellers, 46. In the second division, Mr. Dufresne, 58. In the third division, Mr. Hampson, 47. All those opposed signify by standing, and the tellers return account. Got 151. 151. Mr. Sellers in the first division, 8. The third division, Mr. Hampson. 44? 24. Second division. 34. 66, 151 plus 66, 217, equals 145 necessary. By a counted vote of 151 in favor and 66 opposed, the necessary 2/3 is 145, and the article passes. We'll stand in recess until 9:30.
Hi, I'm Pat Thatcher.
And I'm Margaret Gifford. We're from Sotheby's International Realty.
You know, spring is a beautiful time in Falmouth, but one thing I've noticed is in scant supply.
Sure is. There's bikinis on the beach.
Oh, Margaret, I'm not talking about bikinis. I'm talking about the housing inventory.
It's the lowest it's ever been.
It's very low, but it's a good time for sellers.
And a great time for buyers because the interest rates are so favorable.
All in all, it's a great time for real estate in Falmouth.
Nestled in a classic New England setting amid 200-year-old elm trees and charming colonial homes, stately sea captains' homes, and charming Cape Cod salt boxes, Shoreway Acres is a graceful blend of Cape Cod's past and present. Shoreway Acres, proud sponsor of Falmouth Community Television.
Founder Abraham Penn taught a valuable lesson that has been part of a tradition since 1919 when he said, "I'd rather make a friend than make a sale." For more than 90 years, Puritan has been making friends as a unique family-owned company right here in Cape Cod. At Puritan Cape Cod on 199 Main Street, as well as Chatham, Mashpee, and Hyannis, you'll find the latest in men's and women's clothing, as well as ski and tennis equipment, and much more. Puritan Cape Cod, 548-0116, or PuritanCapeCod.com.
Welcome to Falmouth. If you're a visitor, this is where surf and sun meet for fun. If you're a resident, this is where you'll find the businesses and the resources necessary to fill all of your needs. If you're a business person, this can be your home. Join with other men and women who work together to make this a sustainable economy year-round. Welcome to Falmouth, Cape Cod.
Green Harbor Waterfront Lodging is nestled in a woodland setting on a picturesque ocean inlet. Green Harbor offers so much for a fun-filled yet affordable family waterfront vacation. Enjoy our private boating beach with ramp and dock, free rowboats and paddle boats, oversized heated outdoor pool and kiddie pool. You'll enjoy our attractive waterfront and beachside accommodations. So visit us online at gogreenharbor.com.
Remember, WC Communications is your printing team. We are calm and cool under pressure. You can call us at 508-563-7366 or toll free at 1-800-696-7303.
Internet services provided by Cape.com Incorporated. Established in 1994, Cape.com is the only locally owned and operated internet service provider on Cape Cod. Our specialties include e-commerce applications and design, wide area networking services, and high-speed DSL internet access throughout eastern Massachusetts. Cape.com continues to lead the way with cutting-edge applications, superior networking services, and quality customer support. For more information, visit us at www.cape.com or call us at 539-9500.
Cavosa Excavating is a family-owned and operated company specializing in the installation of Title V septic systems. Cavosa Excavating is one of the largest septic system installers on Cape Cod. Whether it's upgrading your current system or installing a whole new system, Cavosa Excavating can do the job. Cavosa Excavating, 508-563-5530.
Cavosa Disposal is proud to provide trash removal services to local businesses in Falmouth. Cavosa Disposal would like to thank its customers in Falmouth. Cavosa Disposal, 563-5070.
We've earned people's trust for over 180 years. We're proud of our heritage and the enduring relationships we've built with our clients. For us, trust is more than a word. It's the only way we do business, and it's why people choose Janney.
Leah McGuire's Irish Pub, Main Street, downtown Falmouth. What an Irish pub should be. Sláinte.
Bayside Kitchen and Bath on Main Street in Falmouth, where design and installation professionals work closely with homeowners, architects, and builders. Offering a full range of cabinetry, flooring, faucets, and green alternatives, Bayside Kitchen and Bath, returning you to beautiful spaces.
Eastman's has been Falmouth's hardware store since 1913. Today, we offer a paint department, over 30,000 fasteners in stock, and a friendly staff to assist with all your hardware needs. 508-548-0407.
Wild Harbor General Store, located in historic North Falmouth Village, providing quality goods and services for 170 years. Continuing to make history with our support of FCTV's coverage of Falmouth Town Meeting.
Carpet Barn, Carpet One Home Showcase, a local family-owned business offering all your premier carpet and flooring needs. They also feature tile and vinyl floors, area rugs, window treatments, and kitchen and bathroom cabinetry, serving you at 4 convenient locations.
Bringing you the news through the years, The Enterprise. Their subscription information line is 508-299-8379, and you can visit them on the web at www.capenews.net.
Michael A. Duffany Builders, Incorporated, 508-540-3625. Falmouth Volunteers in Public Schools, 508-548-1621. The Bank of Cape Cod, at 445 Main Street in Falmouth, bankofcapecod.com. Wood Lumber Company, at 81 Locust Street, 508-548-3154. Neighborhood Falmouth, meeting seniors' needs, 564-7543, neighborhoodfalmouth.org. Green Shuttle of Cape Cod, 866-934-6476, or gogreenshuttle.com. Foley Real Estate, at 703 Main Street. The number is 548-3415. M.R. Sars & Company, Flower Garden Nursery, at Sandwich Road in Hatchville, 548-5288. Danny's Barbershop, 508-548-6013. Eight Cousins Bookstore, at 189 Main Street in Falmouth, 548-5548. Paul's Precision Automotive Repair, at 464 Main Street, 508-548-3164. David Rogers Electrician, Residential, Commercial, Industrial, 564-7507. Murray & McDonald Insurance Services Incorporated, at 406 Jones Road in Falmouth and 550 MacArthur Boulevard in Bourne. Falmouth Fish Market at 157 T-Ticket Highway in Falmouth. Hamilton Tree Incorporated, 508-563-7633 or www.hamtreeandland.com. Oppenheim and Nickerson LLP. Their law office is at 156 Locust Street, 508-548-8255. Davy Tree and Lawn at 996 East Falmouth Highway, 548-2662. Andy's Barbershop in the Falmouth Plaza. Arthur D. Calfee Insurance with 2 locations at 121 Conwy Road in North Falmouth and 336 Gifford Street in Falmouth. Chapman Cole & Gleason, 508-540-4172. Hanush Jewelers, now at 352 Main Street in downtown Falmouth. The number is 548-9107. Mahoney's Garden Center at Route 28 in East Falmouth. The number is 508-548-4842. Vincent Associates Real Estate at 159 Main Street in Town Hall Square. The number is 548-6500. The Cape Cod 5 at 763 Main Street. The number is 457-5252. Cape Cod Cleaning, 508-563-7622. Steve's Pizzeria and More at 374 Main Street in the center of town. 457-9454 or 457-9636.